you agree that? Do you agree that under the language of Initiative 42 that if it passes, that this would not be limited to just funding issues, that they could sue local districts, say Scott County? You've got 5 high schools, you could consolidate to 3 high schools. If someone wants to go into court and say that this school district is not providing an adequate and efficient system of public education because they're running 3 high schools and they don't have enough money to provide quality education, and Judge, we want you to make them address those issues, I could see that could possibly happen. But I'm not so sure that that's necessarily a bad thing, and I'll tell you why. We know that in our state, there's been discussions of consolidation, but one of the best ways to save money is to consolidate within your district. Holmes County, and I've mentioned Holmes County 2 years ago, against public wishes, consolidated 3 high schools into 1. The public went to court and said, we don't want you consolidating those 3 schools. Judge Brewer ruled from the bench that yes, the school board and the superintendent had the right to consolidate those 3 schools. So now you got 1 school, 1 high school, you got a middle school, and you got a couple of 3 elementary schools. And I told Speaker Gunn, I said, Speaker Gunn, you guys in the legislature need to give Holmes County the money they need to build a quality school for the one that they consolidate, because they can't build one. Now that's a school district that did right. And if somebody needs to sue them to make them do right, so be it. But we've got to get to a point where we are running efficient, effective, and quality school systems that provide an adequate system of public education, whether it's at the state level, at the local level, or at the state level where the legislature can play into that. So, I can see something like that maybe happening.
Well, first of all, I want to acknowledge and say again, I appreciate Mr. Key. It seems to acknowledge that yes, consolidation is something that would be before the court conceivably. That's certainly the case. I hope y'all took note of that. That is certainly something anyone would have the standing to go and say is necessary. Now, he's also correct. Does that mean that's a bad thing? No, it doesn't mean a bad thing. The legislature has done some consolidations in the last few years. The point is the decision whether or not, for instance, to consolidate districts or schools, the point is that's a decision that your elected representatives and senators need to make. The people that you vote for, not a judge sitting in Hinds County. Now, who can predict the outcome of such litigation? I can't. I don't know if Clinton and Jackson Public Schools would be consolidated by Hinds County Chancellor. Have no idea. It depends on the evidence presented and a lot of other factors. All I know is that decision won't be made, for instance, by Philip Gunn, who's the elected representative from Clinton. That decision is going to be made by Hinds County Chancellor, ultimately. Now, that's what we're talking about with Initiative 42. It's transferring that authority in a very fundamental, very basic decision-making level, not only about policy, but also about, not only about funding, but also about policy, and putting that in the hands of the judiciary, where it does not belong.
I'm going to stop it right there.